Hi, I'm Mr. Miyagi and this is Mr. Miyagi's Workshop. Well, this is part 4 of the series, This Old Shovelhead. And the name of this episode is Fire in the Hole. So stay tuned and we'll walk you through the whole process. Okay, this is the first startup on this motor. I have, with the spark plugs out, kicked it through to try to get the oil circulating through the system first. I've got gas to it, the spark plugs and everything are back in and ready to go. So let's see if we get any power out of this at all. Now this thing is dead cold. I have not started it, so I know you guys out there think I already started it, but I haven't. Kick it through. Okay, let's see what we get. Really helps to have both spark plug wires hooked up. Okay, I've got a couple of leaks in the fuel system. I got to double check the timing, but yeah, it ran on one cylinder. Okay, we'll get back to you once I check everything out. Okay, let's try this again. Now that I've done the initial fire up, I'm going to let her sit and cool down completely so that when I fire up again, I'll do this 3 times. I'll start the first initial one, the second one, and the third. And what you do is you bring it up to temperature and then you let it cool down completely and go back. And what that helps do, that helps seat in all those gaskets and everything for you. So. And I got to get a working timing light to get everything set up to check the timing. So I'll see you back here in about 15-20 minutes. Okay, cooled down. I was actually gone an hour, so I give it a good deal. So let's try this again. Fuel on. Okay, we brought her up to running temperature. We're going to let her sit now and let her cool down, and we'll do it one more time. I thought while we were waiting for the motor to cool down, I was going to go over some of the stuff I've done. Like the way I routed my hoses and everything up through here. I did have to change the angle for the feeds on the pump, the return, and the feed line itself. They weren't quite way I wanted them. They had to kick in a little bit more, so I just had enough clearance around this exhaust here. Then they come back into the filter that I'm using, and this is actually a Chevy remote filter setup that I'm using here, and I'm using the 5.5 inch and I don't remember the size for the feed on it, but that's what I'm using. You want to use a motorcycle filter because they're set up a little different than a car filter. Anyway, let's move around to the other side here. So on this side here, I don't know if you can see that right there, there's a little dot. And basically what I did is I just transferred it down to here, so when I'm running I can set my timing. Now you can run with that opening, and but it tends to spew out oil. They also make a little see-through plug that you can put in there and screw it into place, but sometimes I find that these are kind of difficult to see the mark going by. Or you can do, if you have a belt drive, I just transfer it to the outside so it's easier for me to time. So there's a couple different ways there you can do it. I mean, you can leave the plug out, that's fine, but if you don't mind getting oil all over heck, then there you have it. Now, one of the other things I did, I originally had my riding mid pegs up here, but that was always kind of a pain when I was riding down the road to lift my leg up onto that and kind of get in a comfortable spot. What I did is I took the inspection cover area and added a foot peg hold for my mid peg, so I can come from this peg to this peg and I'm comfortable for a long distance riding. In here on the other side, I had made this other peg up before, which mounted on these two screws, and all I did was just drop it down. So once again, it just makes it easier from when the front peg, you can change your feet positioning as you're riding down the road. Maybe absorb a little of the bumps and such if you go on dirt roads like I do. I don't like to all the time, but you know, sometimes you have to. One other thing, if you're going to run one of these pressure gauges and it's the liquid filled, you know, like this one, you can see the oil that's in there. It's always a good idea to install those things upside down. And why, you ask? Well, one of the reasons is that this needle runs in the oil all the time, and it's kind of a shock absorber for it. If you have it up this way, it doesn't get into the oil as much, so it could tend to wear that gauge out fast. So I always mount mine upside down. I get used to looking at them upside down. One other thing that I've done, if you can look at this one here, I've marked it off at 10, 20, and 30 pounds. So at a glance, I can just look down and go, oh, okay, I've got good oil pressure. I'm going down the road. Okay, it looks like the final startup out of all three. See what happens here. Seems to be running fine now. It just needs to have 200 or 300 miles put on it. I'll do a double check on it, and then we'll do a full 500. We'll do an oil change, and then probably do another one at about 1,500 miles. But right now I'm kind of happy. She's running fine. I'll still have to play with it, fine tune it a little bit further. But right now it's good enough to bring down off the table and take for a ride. I don't think I'll be able to, I don't have time today to do it, but and it'll probably rain tomorrow. If there's any questions or comments, put them in the comment section below or send them to my email address at tmiyagi@hotmail.com. And if you've liked this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget that ringy-dingy button for the next episode coming up. So this is Mr. Miyagi saying be safe out there and hope to see you on the road. Ciao.